Mga ate at mga kuya, welcome back to Kuya Puto's channel. Nagbago na ba ang Tim Hortons? Marami po nagsasabi, lalo na yung mga matagal na dito sa Canada, Tim Hortons is not what it used to be. And as a long-time resident, marami po nagtatanong kay Kuya Puto, totoo nga ba yan Kuya Puto? Iba na ba ngayon? Hindi na ba kasing ganda or kasing galing katulad nung dati? Yun po ang pag-uusapan natin dito sa video na to. So guys, just to give you a brief background, Tim Hortons po, he used to be a hockey player for the NHL, National Hockey League, back in the 70s or the 80s, right?
The only thing that could influence my retiring or giving up hockey would be that things are quite hectic these days trying to combine business with hockey. And if the business that I am involved in continues as it is, I may have to consider retirement before I would like to.
That's the Tim Horton Donut Emporium?
Yes, Tim Horton Donuts Ward, and it's very nice of you to let me get a word in about it. If I may take the opportunity, I would like to... well, heck, I'm going to anyway. I'd like to say thank you to all you nice people in the Hamilton and Burlington districts and in Galt and Brantford and Kitchener-Waterloo for enjoying my donuts.
And believe it or not, he originated from Hamilton, Ontario. Malapit po dito sa amin sa Brantford. It's only 20 minutes away. Sikat po siyang hockey player nun. And what he used to do was play hockey full-time for the NHL. And he started a donut shop, which he named after himself, Tim Hortons, right? Dati hindi pa siya ganun kalaki. Just like any other business, growing pains, he was playing hockey full-time and running the business part-time, right? So marami pong mga storya, he would bring to the locker room all the time donuts. Dahil, it's a beautiful treat, right? And as time went on, yung inumpisahan po niyang brand that he named after himself, lumaki to the giant that we know, Tim Hortons today. Pero Kuya Puto, nung bata ka ba, ganito na ba ang Tim Hortons? You know what I have to say? Nung pong lumalaki ako, Tim Hortons was, sa mga kabataan, was a destination. Dahil mura yung pagkain, mura yung kape, masarap yung kape, and the donuts were beautiful. They were made inside the store fresh all the time, right? Tapos yung mga kabataan katulad ko, since wala kaming pera dahil bata kami, doon kami nag-hangout. So it was a destination for a lot of young kids. Plus, it was also a destination for a lot of seniors, right? Dahil doon din sila nag-hangout. And a lot of people, yung mga nagkakakilala, yung mga nagde-date-date, doon muna sila pumupunta bago sila gumasta para sa isa't isa. Let's go out for coffee. And iba po, if you ask me, iba po yung Tim Hortons back then compared to the Tim Hortons today. Alam ko, marami magsasabi na baboy po yung Tim Hortons. And a lot of people they're avoiding Tim Hortons now because of what's happened over the last 5 or 6 years. But I can reassure you, nung lumalaki po si Kuya Puto dito sa Canada, hamak iba ang Tim Hortons. A lot of young kids, nasa high school, their first jobs are usually at Tim Hortons. Young Canadians, okay? I never had the opportunity to work there, pero ang dami ko pong mga kaklase dati, doon sila nag-umpisa magtrabaho. Popular po yung McDonald's, Tim Hortons, Burger King, Wendy's even. Nung lumalaki po ako, doon po nagtatrabaho yung mga kabataan. And marami din po mga seniors, doon din sila nagtatrabaho because pag nag-retire na sila, they're not physically able to work as much as they used to be when they were younger. So marami pong mga Tim Hortons dati, nag-hire po sila ng mga seniors and it was great. Let's talk about the food. I'm gonna make comparisons now. Yung pong pagkain sa Tim Hortons dati, mas malinis, mas masarap. Mga kape-kape, mga drinks, mas malinis, mas masarap, mas mura. They took pride with their product. Kaya nga, It started with a small, store from the original owner, and it just blew up globally today, right? Because yung reputasyon nila pagdating sa pagkain. Yung mga donuts po, tandaan ko yung mga kaklase ko dati na nagtatrabaho doon po nila ginagawa sa likod. They design the donuts, they make the donuts, they fry the donuts, they bake the donuts. All the other foods, they make it fresh doon po sa mismong store. Ngayon, nanggagaling po sa supplier. Okay, a lot of the baked goods, they come frozen to the store. They make it in a very, very big factory, believe it or not, dito sa Brantford, Ontario. Okay, so kung meron kayong Timbit or donut na bibili sa Tim Hortons ngayon, more than likely, nanggaling po doon sa factory dito sa Brantford, Ontario yon. Tapos, siniship nilang from location to location, frozen, and then, they reheat it, whatever. So, yeah. Yung pong kape, wonderful. Hot chocolate was my favorite. This was before the ice caps. Wala pang ice caps noon. Mga cappuccino lang, tea, coffee. Simple, beautiful. Ngayon, if you go on social media, marami pong nagko-complain. Sinasabi nila, the donuts are stale. Hindi tama yung lasa. Even worse, nakakakita po sila ng mga insekto or mga buhok-buhok dun sa mga pagkain. That never happened before. Okay, you don't ever hear about that because mataas po yung standards nila. Ngayon medyo bumaba na. Okay, and a lot of people are gonna say it's because of what happened over the last 5 or 6 years. Talagang bumagsak. So we talked about the food. Now let's talk about the service. Dati po, like I said, karamihan na nagtatrabaho sa Tim Hortons are young people. Mga high school kids, college kids, trying to earn extra money para makatulong po dun sa eskwela nila, sa mga gastahin nila. And marami din po mga seniors na nagtatrabaho dati. And everybody in between, right? Because Tim Hortons was not really considered a career job. Okay? It's usually considered as a survival job, even back then, right? But it catered majority to the young people dito sa Canada, right? Ngayon po, as you can see, if you walk into any Tim Hortons, medyo, I don't want to say it, but medyo iba na po mga namamahala ngayon. Okay? Yung pong anak ko, naghahanap ng trabaho. She's turning 15 this month and she's having a very, very hard time looking for a job. She even applied to Tim Hortons but walang tawag. So, going back to what I was saying, if you walk into any Tim Hortons right now, bihirang-bihira po kayo makakita ng mga seniors. Bihirang-bihira po kayo makakita ng mga Canadians now. Okay, it seems like the majority is made up of a certain group. And that is a huge difference po from a customer's point of view, right? Dahil dati, it's very diversified. It even got to the point, as the evolution of Tim Hortons, progressed. Even Filipinos, there was a time, madami pong mga Pinoy, puro nagtatrabaho po sila karamihan sa Tim Hortons, right? But we never really, as Pinoys, heard any complaints from Canadians about the service, about the friendliness, about anything. If anything, pabor po sila sa mga Pinoy because, Canadians find Pinoys hardworking. We have a very strong grasp of the English language. And not only that, we're very personable, diba? We're very, very polite. We're very friendly. We're very approachable. And you know what? That showed the Canadians that patronized Tim Hortons that, we are not a threat as Pinoys. If anything, kung tutuusin, we added to the value of Tim Hortons. Unfortunately, ngayon, social media, internet, online, you go everywhere. There's so many complaints, there's so many bashing, there's so many negativity, there's so many just plain bad things, bad stuff that are being said tungkol sa mga empleyado and services that are being provided by what or who Tim Hortons employ. Okay? So, sinasabi po ng mga customers ngayon, iiwasan nila yung Tim Hortons dahil every time they go, rude daw yung mga employees. Tapos, hindi raw mali-mali daw lagi yung ino-order nila, yung binibigay sa kanila. And there's even instances, iniisip nila or feel nila na dinudugas sila pagdating sa bayaran. Dahil they'll order a coffee and a donut. Next thing you know, sasabihin sa'yo, oh, it's like you get charged like $8. Because ngayon po, ibang klase na, right? Pag pumunta kayo sa drive-thru, everybody's in a rush. Okay? You order a donut and a coffee, magkano dapat yung $3? Tapos, you don't think about it, you just tap, right? Tapos, pag tignan nyo dun sa credit card charges ninyo, sa balance ninyo, hey, how come I got charged $10? Because most people don't look at their totals anymore, they just tap, right? Or even worse, sinasabi po ng mga tao ngayon, even online, lalo na pag cash ang binabayad, they don't even, bring it into the register. They just pocket it, right? And kung meron po silang mga complaints, there's good luck. As in, good luck communicating with the current staff right now. And yeah, it's bad. Lalo na po sa drive-thru. At least, when Filipinos were there, when Filipinos was the majority, right? There was no problem because, English tayo. Kahit baluktot yung dila natin sa English, at least naiintindihan nila tayo 100%, di ba? Ngayon, there's a lot of memes going around sa internet. Okay, lalo na sa Instagram, sa TikTok. Sa tuwing makakita kayo ng Tim Hortons drive-thru clip, they could not understand each other. They're having a hard time communicating between, customer and employee, right? Because of the language barrier. So, if you ask me po, napakalaki po talaga ng difference. And I don't blame the people na matagal na dito sa Canada when they say it's not what it used to be. Because back in the day po, talaga it used to be a destination. It used to be a good place to go. It used to be a place where people met, where people, created friendships, where people connected. Ngayon, I don't know. With everything going on, especially with their hiring practices, right? Many Canadians are complaining. Many Canadians are boycotting Tim Hortons. So guys, sana naman di kayo magalit kay Kuya Puto. This is just an observation based on my experience growing up dito sa Canada over the last 40 years with regards to the evolution of Tim Hortons from nung dati, nung araw, compared to ngayon. Ano sa tingin nyo? Bumagsak na ba yung Tim Hortons? Comment down below.